Hello, welcome to the video. My name is Amber. I am an artist, art business owner, and this is going to be a week of art or market prep. A week of market prep. That's what the video is. I just got back from about 5 days off, and I had about 4.5 days to prep for this market. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of like inventory stuff, cards, stickers, making sticker packs, all that kind of stuff, and I'll show you how the market goes. If that interests you, stick around. If it doesn't, maybe it will. Maybe you don't know what you like and you want to stay anyways. Who knows? So I just got back from Halifax 3 hours ago. Anyways, I have a bunch of packages, cards, a fun special package, which I will share with you guys at some point. And that one is not as fun. I mean, these two are just work. But yeah, I feel very overwhelmed because I have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3.5 days to get everything ready for the big market that I'm doing, the Saturday, Sunday market, as well as all the work and orders that I have to catch up on from while I was away. So yeah, problem is I'm like in that I have no brain, I don't know what's going on state after you get back from traveling. So we'll see what I get done. I think I'm gonna open this up because it has my cards, and that's pretty easy to tackle. I'm pretty much gonna I'll probably do my Etsy orders first, and then I will do the cards. I'll start folding them, but there's a lot. So yeah, I figure I might just like, put a movie on and try and tackle that. Okay, so I thought I would talk a bit about some tips and just general ideas for any of you who are thinking about doing a market or your first market, or maybe you feel like your markets haven't been going well. I just wanted to give some tips, both in terms of like how you can display better, can make the experience better for yourself, and things you can do to maybe increase your average order value, or things to consider in terms of the products that you are bringing. So I'm going to start with, your table setup, your physical display, some tips there, and then we'll move on. One of the first things you should do, and that's just general good practice, is to do like a table mock-up before you go. I do them pretty much every time I do a new market. If I'm going to a market where I have been before and I know that I'm bringing my own tables, I know my general location, all of that kind of thing, I don't as much because I've done, at this point, I don't know, probably like 100 markets in my time. So I don't do it for every market, but anytime there's a different one, or anytime I know that I am bringing in new or different products, I will kind of mock up my table display or my stall display, because sometimes too they're going to provide a table, sometimes they're not. Sometimes you're given a like 10 by 10 space, so you can create more of like a market stall versus just a plain table. It really depends. So that's going to be your first consideration, and you want to mock it up beforehand, and then when you're done, take a picture of it, and this way when you go to set up, you can just keep referencing that. I like to do that even just for my like actual like my card display, like where I'm putting them. I even do it for that, just so that I remember where I like the look of the cards, because sometimes that matters. One of the best things you can do for your display as well is to make sure you have tiered displays. You have like a variety of height. However you have to achieve that, as long as it's stable, you should be doing that. It's just The difference is, it's honestly like huge in my opinion. No shade to people who don't have tiered displays and who are maybe just starting out, but when you look at somebody who just has stuff lying flat on a table versus, you know, a nicer tiered display, there's just a huge difference, especially because most people their eye line is not going to be at the level of the table, and that makes a huge difference if you can catch somebody's eye. And it doesn't have to be expensive to do this. You know, those like wooden crates, you'll see so many of us as market vendors, we have those wooden crates. You can get them, I don't know, Michael's, Canadian Tire, Home Depot. You can stack those, and if you need the extra support, sometimes people will zip tie them together, or I put heavier objects in them if I know I'm going to be at an outdoor market. But having that height is really crucial to just kind of like upping your display game. Some other good things to do or consider is to think about things that are collapsible or compact. I have my card display completely comes apart and slides together, so what normally looks like tiered shelves will collapse into a small bundle that is flat and very easy to pack, because otherwise you're gonna have way too much crap, and you want to really save your room for the more important things, which is like your products. I also highly recommend getting something like a wagon or a dolly. Not every market you go to is gonna have one, and even if they do, you might have to, you know, fight to get use of one. I got a wagon from Canadian Tire for under $100, and it was a game changer. I love it. Sometimes I can pack up and move all my stuff in one load with the wagon, depending on the type of market. Not always, but it makes such a huge difference. Like yeah, if you can get to that point, if you're doing markets frequently enough, it's definitely a worthwhile investment in my opinion. I love my wagon. I love my wagon. I also really recommend making room to create a pricing poster or some form of pricing display. Some people use like letter boards. I just personally print or design and print my own pricing chart, and I put it on one of the displays kind of in the most central location. I also recommend printing a copy of it and putting it behind your display with you, so if people ask you, because it's not always easy for people to see. Sometimes it's harder to read. People just miss it because they're looking at your actual products and they don't realize. There's a number of reasons. Just have a copy with you. I forget to do this every single time, and it's almost embarrassing how often I forget my pricing, mostly because at markets I like to do like bundled discounts. So like my stickers are regularly $5. At markets I do them 3 for $12, something like that. I do the same for cards and various other things, so it's just, you can't remember all of this all of the time, you know? So just save yourself that awkwardness and keep a copy with you. Speaking of like your product prices and bundling, you want to try and have a range of product prices for people to shop from. You know, not everyone is shopping for, you know, low tier or high tier. You want to have options and variety for people to choose from. Sometimes they're looking, especially around the holiday season and the gifting season, like think about the giftability of your products. So you want to think about smaller items that are add-ons, but you also want to think about your customers who maybe are looking to be kind of one and done, who want to like buy something from your shop. For somebody they know somebody who likes a lot of your things or your style, and they don't want to have to go shop around and create a bundle for themselves or create a gift full of smaller items. Maybe you create your own holiday bundle yourself. Something I like to do around the holiday season is create more sticker packs or themed sticker sets. So I have like a book themed one, a wildlife one, a bird lover one. These are really good too for like stocking stuffers, things like that. Some people are really honed in on a certain theme, or maybe they're really honed in on your style, whatever it might be. However, you can kind of bundle something and make it the process easier for them, the better. Speaking of product bundles, you should also do this. I think this is a really good way to increase your average order value. The number of times I've had people who are going to buy one versus one or two stickers, and I let them know about the discount, which is 3 for $12. You go from 10 to 12. Friends, it also makes your customers happy, and you're selling a larger volume. It's really easy to get bogged down in like your profit margin there, but at least the way I have looked at it over the years, especially with stickers, is that the higher volume I sell, the lower the cost for me to get them is. So I can buy a larger volume, which is going to put my cost per piece down, instead of, buying, 10 at a time, or buying a sample of 10 of one sticker. I'm at the point, especially because I sell wholesale as well, that my price or my cost per each, or my average cost per piece, goes lower the more that I sell and the more that I buy. It is a nice value. I know people, I have a lot of sticker designs, and I know that people have a hard time choosing sometimes, and I think offering that discount is just a nice way to get people more of what they want. And it also means that your average order per transaction, or your average order value, is going to go up because of that. Even though you're not making as much per sticker, you are ultimately still selling more, and technically your sales volume is going up. Okay, so I have just freshened up a little bit. I woke up pretty early, like just before 6 o'clock, because I went to bed super early, because I just got back from Halifax, and they're about an hour ahead. And yesterday I was basically up as of 4:30 our time, so it was a long day. I'm back now. You saw me kind of packing some Etsy orders and doing some cards for a wholesale order. I just wanted to get the essentials done so I could get any orders out. So I dropped those off, got a coffee, and now I am back, and I'm ready to focus on the market this weekend, which is the Bush Plain Holiday Market. It's 2 days. It's Saturday, Sunday. I have never done it. Everyone always says it's really busy. It's really good. I've been before, and it's pretty busy. Yeah, I only have like 3.5, 4 days to prepare for that. So that is my focus now. I have this fat stack of greeting cards. This is 300 greeting cards that I have to fold, trim, because they never align correctly at all. You probably can't see, but they're never properly aligned, so I always have to trim them, and then stuff with envelopes and package for the show. So I'm probably gonna put a movie on, or TV or something, and at least start folding. I might split it up into like a half stack and do half today, half another day. I'm waiting on some envelopes and sleeves to arrive so that I can finish packaging them. I have a bunch, but I don't feel like I have enough, and really hope those come on time. But at the very least, I should probably fold and trim all of these, which is, I can't say it's like a top 10 favorite task as a business owner, a stationery business owner. It's very tedious, boring. There's some tedious tasks that I enjoy. Like, I would say packing orders can be tedious, or it is like a very repetitive task, but not like this. Packing orders I love. Even stamping envelopes, love it. Tedious, repetitive, kind of boring, but in a decent way. Folding and trimming cards is one of my least favorite tasks on the planet. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna find something to watch and tackle these lovely things, and then like a million other things on top of that, like so many things. I'll see you when I see ya. Rant over. I think one final tip I'll give is kind of around mindset. You know, it's really easy to get discouraged by markets, and I have fallen prey to this a number of times, and it's a very inconsistent business to be in. So it can be very hard. You can have a really good market and you're riding a high from that, and then your next one is mediocre at best, or maybe you barely make any money. But until you have a few under your belt and you have some experience, try not to let it discourage you. Look at the factors involved. What was the attendance like? What is the demographic of those attendees? So I'll talk a bit more about it in the next segment. I'm going to do kind of like a reflection on the market that I just did, which is supposed to be one of like the best markets for Northern Ontario. You kind of go in with expectations, and then you have to kind of reassess as you see what the crowd and what the attendance is like, and there's a lot of factors. So don't think that it's all about you. Think about what are the reasons that maybe this market wasn't as successful for you. What things could you have done better? Especially if you're new to the game, it's not always going to be amazing. You can't expect to have like a perfect display, and don't go comparing your display to other people's displays and feeling insignificant or like your display sucks compared to other people's. Look at them and find inspiration, but don't let it get you down, because then you're just going to be in that negative mindset and headspace, and it's going to kind of radiate off of you, and people aren't going to want to interact with you. I am done my market prep. I just got back from setting up my display. It's the night before. I will probably just go about an hour and a half early tomorrow morning, not even, maybe about an hour, to finish setting up like my actual inventory, because I like doing that the day of. But yeah, I feel like a little bit more relieved. I don't know what to expect. I've never done this market. I have attended, and everyone, like my vendor show friends that I've talked to, all say it's really good. But I still, I'm always like, what does that mean? I don't know. I still don't know for me, what to expect. I just hope that it is, relatively busy. It goes by fast. I'm gonna be just dead tired. I can tell you that right now. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun at the very least. It's a cool venue. It's literally, there's a bunch of planes. It's in a giant hangar. It's the Bush Plane Museum. I'm going to spend next week decompressing a bit. Gonna go through the Halifax photos and videos and stuff. I'll be working on this vlog. I'll be working on that vlog. So I'm gonna be working on that, and I'm going to spend some time decompressing, because after market weekends, especially 2 days in a row, my battery is gone. I'm hoping to go for a walk. Basically been stuck at my desk. So yeah, lots to come. Excited to be back doing art, YouTube. I will still be busy with holiday stuff, but a lot of that prep work has been done. I did it for this market. Hello, welcome to the post-market assessment update chat. I don't know what you want to call it. Please welcome to the video my new microphone. Decided to invest in one of these. And by invest, I mean it was only $30. I saw that, I was like, that is a good deal, particularly if it works and sounds good. So yeah, welcome little lav mic. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast, even though it's not a podcast. Anyways, I'm gonna try and not talk too long. I'm also very hungry and I need to go make my lunch. So yeah, a lot of factors contributing to me speedrunning this. Yeah, so quick assessment, or also I'm going to be looking at my iPad because I have my notes here. I don't want to forget anything. Yeah, so quick overview of what this market was and what my expectations were going in. This is the big holiday gift and craft show, biggest craft show in Northern Ontario. What used to be a one weekend event, a Saturday, Sunday, has become a 2-weekend event, mainly because there were so many vendors that wanted to be in this show. They split it into 2. So that's a contributing factor, because your audience is definitely getting split up over those 2 weekends. Yeah, I do think that means that the traffic was slower. This started last year, I think was the first year that they split it into 2 weekends. This year being the second means probably more people knew that it would be split into the 2 weekends. I would say Having attended the show as a like customer, I think I went last year, and then having been there this year as a vendor, I would say I noticed a difference even just as a customer in the number of people attending. I thought it was quite a bit less. A lot of the vendors who have done the show said the same thing. Previous years, it would have been like people were like coming in a huge wave. You'd be like overwhelmed for at least 2 hours of the show with people shopping, and like at no point was that the case. I was alone, even. I mean, I had my niece with me, but she was mostly like just hanging out. So yeah, at like no point did I feel like it was like overwhelming. And I've done shows where it's like that. Like I did the Toronto Stationery show. Sadly, not this year, but last year I did it. That was overwhelming at times. So comparing to something like that, again, I don't like to compare Northern Ontario to Toronto because your crowd is different, your demographics different, and yada yada. I would say that was probably one of the biggest factors that contributed to it like not meeting my expectations. Hearing from vendors in previous years what it was like, the show being split up into 2 weekends, affecting the attendance. I think also having now attended as a vendor, I can say it's like not really my like target audience, you would say, or my demographic. I would say it is an older group, which no shade, a lot more on the craft side and less on the small art business side of the spectrum of customers. Still a lot of people, but yeah, so like I would say the crowd is like less my crowd. And it doesn't help as well. So in one sense, you can kind of, during the holidays, break out of your usual demographic a little bit, only in the sense that people are shopping for gifts. However, art is very subjective and very personal. It's a lot harder for people to shop for. So, like art prints during the holidays for me, not really a big seller. Other times of the year they do pretty decently, but I find during the holidays it's just not a big sell because people more often are going to buy art for themselves or at least not be buying them art as a gift unless you really know that person well. You don't have people like buying that as a casual gift item. Whereas people who are like selling, hand knitted mittens or items that are more global or universal or not as personal, that's going to be a lot easier to sell as a gift item. I kind of talked about that earlier about how I try to make giftable items. But I mean, you can only do so much as an artist. Yeah, so I think overall, still a good market. Not my like best market ever. I've done much better markets before. Not a ton. It's definitely up there, but over like as a 2 day, yeah, like as a 2 day market, I would say, yeah, pretty good. Average, bit above average for me, but nothing crazy. Now that I've had the experience of doing it, if I were to do it next year, I know that I would have more accurate expectations, and I imagine I would be more than happy at that market. That said, I don't know going forward how many markets I want to do. I will still sign up for this one. The application goes out next week, which I don't love because I literally don't know where I'm going to be in my business at that point. I've talked about it a few times about kind of changing up what I want to do. Each year I try to do less markets because they are very exhausting and overwhelming. Next year or in the coming years, something I would like to do is do something more like a trade show where I focus more on the wholesale side of my business, limit the number of markets I do throughout the year, and also try and do some more down south, like in Toronto and in the Niagara region, which is where my family is. I said I would do it this year, but things are just kind of crazy right now, like Chris being gone for 3 weeks. TJ is old and don't really want to like leave him with anybody that isn't like myself or Chris, really. So it kind of just depends on a number of factors. But yeah, this kind of just to go back to my point is like, the first time you do a market, and I mean, it can change every year. There's just a lot of factors, but I'm happy. It was a good market. It was fun. It was pretty chill. I hope some of these tips helped, and that if you have been considering trying out doing like a local art market or farmers market, whatever it might be, hope that you do it. I think it can be really good for you. And I also think try to not set yourself up to be upset by the end, especially if you've never done a market before. It's like a new skill to learn, like especially if you're not already like into sales. Like if maybe if you work in retail, like you have a job in retail or something that's very customer facing already, then you might just slide into markets without any issues. When you're talking about like yourself, your own products, it's not very natural at first. It takes some time, but try not to have too high of expectations. I'm not saying you're not going to succeed, but it's better to keep them reasonable, focus more on, what you can do better, how to improve, focus on the wins that you make. I think it's different depending on where you are in your career as well. I think if you're like a young artist or a new small business, it's going to be a little bit hard at first. Like, I don't know, my first market displays and the whole thing weren't amazing, but each time you do it, you get better. You get better at talking to people. If you are thinking of doing a market for the first time, do it. Don't work yourself up about it. Try not to get overwhelmed. Take some of these tips into consideration, especially, like I said, the stuff in terms of physical display. What I am offering, I think, is a good first step. You don't have to make it overly complicated. Yeah, if you have any questions or your own tips that you'd like to share, leave them in the comments. If I think of anything else, maybe I'll drop them down below, or maybe I'll write that'll be one of the newsletters. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah. I wish you the best of luck this holiday season if you are in the market game, whether you are new or old and you are feeling struggles of this year in this whole crazy world. And I hope you thrive, and I'll see you in the next one.